And I would like to thank Professor Darshan Mehta for kindly giving such chance for taking part this particular lecture and interacting with you people. And also would like to thank him for giving me nicely introducing among us you. So thank you very much, Professor Darshan, for this nice introduction. Um, I hope everybody is fine at your home place. I hope everybody is connected through online mode. So I hope you are all safe in this pandemic situation. So my best wishes that should keep yourself safe and your family. Let us move to this particular talk which I want to deliberate. In fact, I want that what were the experience, in fact, I have in this particular area that I would like to discuss. And also I would like to have your experiences into this, because that is a very general area where I'm going to discuss. Basically, as introduced by Professor Darshan, that my area is basically civil engineering and water resources. But this topic is given, and whatever the experience I have from my side, that I will try to deliver. But say at the same time, whatever the experience you have with you, because I feel most of you are all teachers only in some good academic institutions. So please convey your thoughts and these findings in this particular area. So I will just open the slide. Okay, I hope my slide is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, so in this particular short-term training program, which is being organized on research methodology and technical writing, it's a very apt area chosen by the organizers, particularly Professor Darshan and his team. And this is very much required nowadays if we talk about research methodology, because when we are teaching in the class, and if the same pattern we are teaching all the time, and we are not making innovation, then it becomes difficult, it becomes very boring for a teacher. But if you want to innovate in your teaching, and if you want to give new inputs to your students, wherein this research methodology becomes important. So when you carry out the research, research gives the benefit altogether, maybe at personal level, societal level. But apart from that, that helps you in improving your teaching, right? So you can improve your teaching a lot with this having the insight into the research. So I can advise to everybody that please carry out the research at your own level, so that apart from your personal and institutional and societal growth, at least you should have this quality improvement in your teaching also, right? Now the second aspect, that is the technical writing. So whatever the research we do, whether it is your PhD level, students level, PhD students level, or your own research level, or if you take some students of MTech programs or even BTech projects, then if you complete and do good work, and if it remains in the report only, nobody will be able to see your the work or contribution. But the moment it is published in good journals or conferences, at that point of time, those articles become visible to all. And the visibility will increase, and if the visibility increases, then those particular aspects or applications can be taken by other researcher, and it can be useful to the society also. for implementation, for societal development, right? So technical writing means we should not, whatever the work we do, we try to give the quality input into it and try to publish somewhere. Depending upon the quality of work, we should try to publish in very good journals to different level of journals they are there, right? So today my discussion will be on how to write a research article, and I will just give the glimpse of my presentation which I'm going to discuss today. Uh, First of all, I would like to touch upon first aspect, that why do we make research publication? Why research publication is required at all? Okay, and then where to make our publications, right? And third would be that what are the source of research publications, then types of articles we'll discuss, then finally and foremost and important part aspect I will discuss the format of a technical paper. If you want to write technical paper, what should be the format, and so on. And then finally we'll discuss the review process, that because I have been involved in the associate editors level in some journals, and also reviewer as such. So how the review process takes place for a particular journal, that I will describe. So why to make our research publication? That is the first point. Okay, so let us discuss that point itself first and foremost. That's very important. So can we discuss that? Why do we make our research publication? Why it is required basically? Participant side, can we say something? Why do we require research article publications? If you make our lecture more interactive.
Sir, it is so that we let everybody. Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, by publications, we make things aware into to the community, and we let everybody also get updation that what is the current situation going around. Because like if someone is doing research, that would be restricted to that person only. So if we go for a publication, that would be much more known to the people.
Okay.
And
So,
for edition also, for further additions or innovations, it is helpful.
okay. So I think your answer is perfectly fine. Means, for example, I'm a research scholar, maybe PhD student. In that case, I can refer the other publications if those are published in good journals. Then we can refer the papers. We can see that what are the gaps, and then we make our own path for research. Okay. So that is first and foremost requirement is there. And what is second? Anybody can highlight why do we require research publications? This is one point that is very pertinent.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir, I feel that like one research article published, then that
Yeah.
gives me the confidence that I am on the right track. If it is accepted by someone outside my normal
Yeah.
faculty, I get a confidence that yes, I am okay, I am doing fine. So that I think that will help me in my journey, sir.
Very nice. Because if some, you are very correct, very much correct. Because if I am PhD scholar, and if I'm doing something research along with my guide, and if I make publication in good journals, then we get the reviews. We get the reviews from the reviewers, and the moment they give their inputs and they concur that what were the idea we are considering, and it is in the right direction. So definitely it gives immense confidence in doing the work in that direction. You are very right. Okay.
Yes.
Third point. My introduction would be more a little discussion only. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we can also update it with any specific area that we can publish, for example, on any condition. Then we are also updated with that particular topic, and we can know that what is going in recent trend.
Okay, okay, got it, you're right. But purpose would be that what is the purpose? So purpose could be as said by this Mrinal Rana, the similar aspect you are saying. I'm sure you are in that same direction. That's fine. Anything more? Supposing you are a teacher of college. Why do you require the publications? You are already the professor level, or you are already assistant professor, associate professor. Why do you require all publications? Say nowadays, if I'm correct, in at least NIT system, wherein I am, each and every publication is counted in terms of your promotion. So your individual growth is very, very important, and until unless you have good publications, you will not get total credit points, and in that case promotion will not be held. So for getting publication, good publication in good journals and good in numbers, that helps you to get promotion very fast. Okay, so that is the third point. That is very important because your individual growth is also important, right? Okay, what is fourth point? Think over that.
So contributing to the society is also one of the biggest motto.
Okay, very nice. Fourth point is also correct, that if you are contributing something and it is applied in the field, in the industries, so those papers can be referred by those industries and field, and they can solve their problems, industrial problems. So that is another benefit. That is most important benefits, I can say. Yes, you're right. Any more? Fifth?
Excuse me, sir. Good afternoon.
No, yeah, please.
Yeah, sometimes, sir, some research creates the opportunities of employability, and they creates the environment where individual can start their startup, and next to that they can create.
You're right. You're right. Employment means I told promotion, but yes, your employment is that's also good. And startup also means if the people they can use your publications. That's fine. Very nice.
Yeah.
RJB Surat, you wanted to say something? Okay. Now I think apart from all the answer, one answer is very, very important, and that you must understand. There is one person, for example, he is doing all the work, all the way, but he is not making any publications, right? And he is doing very good work. So what happens is that, for example, I was in Border Roads Organization, I told by Professor Darshan. I initiated my career in Border Roads Organization. I was there in the field and everything. I was happy over there. That was not a problem. But here, after joining the teaching, the first opportunity which is there, if you make some research with my students, and if you make our publication, one publication in good journals, it is being seen by whole world that what I'm doing in my area, and that gives great satisfaction, inner satisfaction, and that is important. So the moment you will make one publication in good journal, immense satisfaction you will get that yes, you are doing something, and the whole world is looking over this research and making citation for that. So that is a very, very important the benefits which is there for making the research publication, and you are well known not at your societal level, not your national level, you are known in your area in international level. So that is a very plus point for making the research, right? So these are a few points that you have to always keep in your mind, that this why we carry out this kind of publication, because this is a very important topic, right? So I think this part already we have covered, right? I think we have discussed all these points. The answers and discussion we have undertaken, so that already we have taken, right? Now, where to make research publications? Right? Publications forums are there. Maybe you can make refereed journal papers in international, national level, right? There are different levels of journals. I will discuss citation index. So we find that both top class journals are there with high impact factor, and then you have very mediocre journal also, maybe having the impact factor maybe order of 1 or 0.9 or like that. So those kind of international journals are also there, national journals are also there, national conferences are there, international conferences are there, news bulletins are there. Now, this referred international journals and national journals, those who are included, which are included in the, this Thomson-Reuters, citation index, that will always be desirable. When you go for anywhere, any interviews or making for your employment or even for promotion, they always see that whether your paper are published in good impact factor journals and good journals like that. But if the journals are, for example, nowadays, if you can see in India, major problem is that people have started making the publication and in the payment mode journals. There are some payment based journals are there, and people are making the publication in those journals just after making very minimal amount, and they just make the publication. So there are hawkers available in the market, and they making a lot of money, minting money from the students and teachers. So that is highly undesirable. And I have seen, I was in committee several times, maybe selection committee and maybe some project review committee. And I have seen that. So those kind of students or people comes, then they just see that whether the paper publication were in the good journals or not. If even a single paper is found that it was published in payment mode journals and those I can say bogus journals, then that entire image is getting washed out, right? So please be very sure you are making the publication. Please don't make the publication here and there journals. And if even you are making the quality publications and few in numbers, that will help. That is not a problem. If you want one publication in good journals and making n number of publication in those journals, there is no comparison with that. So always try to make the publication in good journals, right? That is my advice, first thing. Now the second point is that conferences. Now there are many conferences, national conferences, international conferences that are available, and people are making the publications. Nowadays, it has become a routine that papers when are sent for national conference and international conferences, they are virtually they are getting accepted. That is not a major problem with a small addition here and there. But the point of this international conference, the most important and advantage of this international conference is that first advantage is that when you go physically, I say physically, you go in attending the international and national conferences. Under those conditions, you are making a lot of contacts with people of your area who are working over research. So you are making the good contacts at the national and international levels by attending the conferences. So please don't demean that you should not attend that or you should not contribute in national and international conferences. Hello. Yeah. If you have any question, please let me know. So I mean, say if you are attending national international conferences, you must attend that and make good contacts with the people in your similar area who are making the research, and make the discussion during the conference that this is the particular area you are working, and they can also share their area, and you can get a good path for making the research. And sometimes it also happens that you can make joint collaborations for a particular project and like that, or even some guiding the students jointly. So please do that. So that is the first advantage of a national and international conference. And the second advantage, I must say, those who are just starting their career, maybe at the PhD level or like that, please be sure that these international national conferences, when you are going there in physical mode, for example, and you are making a presentation in front of audience who are present, in the peer group, and you find that the moment you make a presentation of 10 to 15 minutes, and after that some question answers, and after that you will get a lot of satisfaction that you have made the publications. So those, especially those who are young researchers, they must attend the national international conferences, make the publications, and those publications which you are making and making the presentation, that give tremendous confidence in making the publication, right? So it generates the confidence, and that will play this role in the long run, right? So please keep in mind that these national international conferences are also very, very important, right? And apart from that, we can make the publication in the news bulletins of research organization and associations. They are published the news bulletins. So also, if your publications goes there, the people can refer those publications who are there from the respective area, right? So these are the few forums where the publication can be made, right? Okay. Any question on that? Okay. Yeah. Now, what we will do is, if you are not able to concentrate the question right now, you can just put the questions maybe in your message box, and then our organizer will tell the question. I will reply at the end. It's not a problem. Okay. Now, this is another I say citation index. So I say that Thomson Reuters citation index journal, they are available, and numbers of journals are there, and their complete list is there, and you can find your area where you are working, and those journals are available, and you can make the publication over there depending upon the quality of work. There are some Scopus based journals are also there, and you can make this publication in those Scopus index journals. Of course, their quality is being considered as a little lower than this Thomson Reuters index journal, right? So those things are important for you to take up. Now, Science Citation Index, I would like to describe what is the Science Citation Index basically. So if you say here, I say impact factor form. If you talk about the impact factor form, so here if we discuss the impact factor, for example, say how to calculate the impact factor. So for example, if you take the year 2014, so what is being done is that, for example, you have number of publications, number of articles published, right? Number of articles published, number of articles cited in basically in 2014. So citations of number of articles in year 2014. I would say in year 2012 and 2013 together. I mean last 2 years. Say 2014, if you want to make calculation, so you take the cited number of articles in year 2012 and 13 and divide by number of articles published in 2012 and 2013. So last 2 years data you have to take, and you have to see that how many articles were cited divided by total number of articles published, and that will give the impact factor of 2014. So one example is given over here, right? So that is the calculation of this impact factor, and that is there, right? I hope this is a very simple calculation. Now there is one H index. H index is also there. So some faculty citing that what is the H index for them, right? So supposing a particular faculty is having, say for example, 10 publications, and those say for example having 100 publications, but 10 publications have been cited 10 times, right? I get your point. Say I'm a faculty and I have 100 publications. Out of those 100 publications, our 10 top publications are cited 10 times, right? 10 times. So our my H index would be 10, right? So that is a simple calculation for H index. So here it is there, for example, H number of papers cited H times, right? So you are getting this H index, right? So that is the your H index journal. So this is there. Okay, I hope it's clear. Yeah. Now, where do make the publication source of research publications is maybe PhD thesis. Okay. Mostly the publications are mostly done in PhD theses. Now, many universities, even NITs and even IITs, they have made compulsory that this you have to complete this much publications. Until unless you complete this much publication, you will not be able to get your PhD degree submitted. For example, in NIT Surat, SVNIT, we have two papers. Your two papers, either as SCI or in Scopus, if those two papers are published in the journal, then only your thesis is likely to be submitted, right? This is the criteria for PhD thesis. But I could see that many students are there and many publishing huge number of papers from the PhD thesis, and that becomes a major source for publications, right? In fact, I forgot to told previously that these publications, in fact, form a very valuable, resource for the institute also, because those publications are directly useful in getting the grade. Your this ranking of the institute is there with a number of research scholars, number of PhDs is guided, and number of publications. That is also become very, very important, right? So PhD thesis says maximum publications are there out of it, and of course with publication your PhD thesis also getting improved a lot, right? So because getting I say if you are PhD scholar and for example you have submitted your thesis having 4 objectives. So on each objective you publish 4 papers. And then you simply submit those papers, summary, I mean, say in the form of your PhD thesis, just simply make the editing of that. Your PhD thesis is ready. So you need not to do much addition here and there. So I always advise my students that please complete your papers out of your work, and then there is no much effort either from the student side or from my side for submitting the PhD thesis. So that is the best way of doing the things. MTech dissertations, yes, publications are there, but not very significant. Very few students are making the inroad for publication in MTech research, particularly in journals I'm talking. Conferences, yes, publications are there large in number, but sometimes good students make publication in the MTech level also. Okay, but it is not compulsory at least at this stage. In university, in IT, or maybe in other institutions also in MTech dissertation level. Yes, in MTech, in institute, our institute is running MTech by research. There is one particular program, and for MTech by research, there is requirement of 1 SCI publications. Because generally, MTech research, there is no requirement that you stay in institute campus. So to see that the MTech research is quality oriented, so that is why 1 SCI publication is made compulsory. So now apart from that, BTech projects, that very few summer interns, they are coming, and sometimes they do wonders, because those undergraduate students, they having very, very enthusiasm, and they carry out the work some of of the order that you can make the publication. So sometimes BTech projects are from the BTech interns, the project this publication comes, right? So for example, in my one of my student who was in second year and then joined third year, and at that level he make one ASC publications. So sometimes some student comes, and that is also possible. And apart from that, individual research, for example, if we are considering, for example, there are some researcher available. They just carry out the research on their own and make publications. So single author publications are there. So they are very much fascinated with the research, and they carry out the research at the individual level only, having the hypothesis, data, and making the analysis and make the publication. So they are the extraordinary people, and they are also making this research. So these are the few sources for research publications, right? Then type of articles, I've told you that when we make the publications, so sometimes the publication are technical paper. Sometimes it is technical paper. If you talk about in journals, so it is the different category. So technical this papers are there, wherein you have the significant research contribution in the technical paper. Then you have case study. Case study, in fact, you have some research. This case study means some problems are there for particular society like that, and if you make this application oriented study, so those things can be considered under the case study. But doesn't mean that you have zero contribution in terms of research in case study. They always reviewer thinks that what is new in that. Okay, so now what is new in that means there should be some research flavor should be there in this case study also. But technical papers should have a significant research contribution that is expected from the reviewer. Review articles, that is a very important publication, research articles also, because when you are at your PhD level and you have started your this reviewing process after completion of your courses, and then you are in the research, and then you start your literature review. So you might have put 6 months time for a complete review of all articles of your tentatively planned your research. And in that case, you can just make a review articles out of your this review which you have carried out maybe during your review period. So I mean, this is also this kind of articles are also accepted by many journals. So you can make publication like review articles also, and their discussions are there. For example, if you have somebody had made this technical paper, right, and technical paper or maybe case study, if somebody have published, then you can just go through those papers and make your critical comments that where are the some issues are there in their methodology, or maybe they are in results and discussion, and then you come out and you can submit the discussion to those journals, and those discussions are this published in those journals. And then again the authors who have published those technical paper or case study, then they just submit their closure on those discussions. So it is a very good enjoying area of making publication, then discussion, then again closure. So it is just gaining the knowledge in that area. Okay, so this is a very good aspect. So I mean, these are the different options are available where different types of articles you can make the publication depending upon the quantum of research or application you have carried out. Now, the format of technical paper, just I wanted to have wanted to tell you that if you want to make a publication, that's what should be the format of the paper. That is a very, very important point that we have to consider, right? So first and foremost is abstract, right? So point here is that I generally advise that when you are writing a paper, you don't write the abstract in the beginning only. You write the abstract at the end, right? Because you have to complete the remaining part of your this paper. For example, first of all, a defined problem is there in your research area, so you have to complete the work and produce the results, and everything got checked from your respective supervisor or your own level if you are individual researcher. So first of all, you complete the work and complete all the graphs, tables, and everything, and then you have to put in the proper format form, right? Now, the moment we are writing a paper, for example, the first and foremost point comes the introduction, right? So when we are making the introduction, the first paragraph should include that what the theme you have chosen, what is its significance to the society or application or industries, right? So the theme you have chosen, what is significant to the society, that you have to consider and talk about that, okay? And the moment you have described very nicely that the moment why we are doing like this, because when it goes for review, everything we should write to liking of reviewer, okay? In anything, if you send for publication, and if it's not liking of if you're not writing a paper with the mindset of a reviewer, then it is very difficult. So you think that you should write some good paragraph, at least one paragraph you should have, and you write very clearly the significance of this work which you are producing over here. So then this reviewer will get fascinated with that. Yes, this is a very good problem. So let us move ahead. What is being done over here? So then next comes this paragraph 2, when you have the outline of the state of the art and introduction in gap in the knowledge. So what is being done is, first of all, you have to go on, summarizing the different works from starting from the, for example, very recent beginning, for example, that what is being done in that particular area, what people have already done. So you just go on describing at least 3-4 lines about each, and you must see that it is not simply that this person has done this. This is not the state of art. When you are writing the state of the art, you should very clearly that, of course, they have done this kind of work, but what were their main findings of out of their work, okay? So in one line, what they have done, in another line, you have that what are their findings, and third line may include that what are the likely gap in that particular work which the people have done, okay? So when you are writing a particular paper you have read, so in paper at least 3-4 lines at least you must define, wherein it should include that who have done, what they have done, and what are the limitation or maybe the gap in that particular topic, right? Or in that particular paper. So similarly, you just start from the earliest your publications to in chronological order. Generally, you just put and then come out with this latest publications, right? And then after going through all this summary which you have carried out, and then you just find that what is the, from your perspective, what is the gap in the knowledge, what is the gap, what was missing in the entire these papers, what was not addressed on this particular theme. So you have to address those points over here in the form of gap. right? Gap, right? So gap in the knowledge is very, very important at the end of this your literature review, right? State of the art. And then after finding this gap, then what you have to write a statement of the problems, means you have to define very clearly, scientifically, that what are the objectives of your investigation. So meaning is that you have the state of the art, then you have the gap, and then from that gap itself you are defining your this objective of this investigation. And then what in brief you can describe that what methodology you have adopted to just achieve this particular those objectives. So this forms your complete introduction, right? See, I say this introduction part is a very, very critical component in the entire paper. Sorry. In the entire paper, this introduction is very, very important. Generally, a reviewer, the moment it goes to the reviewer, then what happens is that this reviewer sees that, because no reviewer is having sufficient time, adequate time to go for any kind of paper sent to them for review. They just say very carefully that whether something new is introduced in the paper or not. Because say any reviewer will go to the paper only when there is some benefit to him also. Because by reviewing the paper, you are getting insight into it and your research also improves. So all the reviewers just see that if you are putting something new in your paper, they just try to see, yes, something new is there, and they will go to the entire paper. If say some already methodology already described and simply it is a very ordinary application and nothing new is there, they simply say there is no innovation and they simply reject it, right? So keep in mind, you at least you have to lure your reviewer that he or she should go inside the paper. Otherwise, whatever the this work you have done, class work you have done, no problem. They will not go further. Simply by the introduction itself, the stage only, they will say yes, sorry, there is nothing new, and just in 2 lines they will say, and they will reject the paper. So forming the introduction, preparing the introduction is the art. At least when my students make the publication, at least I go for maximum time the introduction. Okay, so this is very, very important. Please keep in mind when you are making the publication, the introduction is a very, very important aspect, right? Most important, I say, in entire paper. And generally, the researchers, I could see many students, they're just giving the least importance to the introduction. They give a lot of importance to this other aspect like methodology and this results discussion and so on, right? Now methods, okay? So methods includes basically next, because that is your work, you know everything, okay? So that is, you have to put in proper language form and proper sequencing and everything, and that's all. I mean, it is not, there is no chance of any much error, because this is your work you have done, right? But producing the work of others, which I discussed in introduction, that is art, and that takes a lot of time, right? Now, if you talk about this format of technical papers, if say methods. Methods means, say for example, 2 aspects. There one a technical aspect, and this experimental aspect, and there is your this analytical aspect, right? So analytical considerations which you have used, then you describe, and then you describe if your work is for experimental work, then you describe that what are the experimental facilities, and then how you have collected the data and everything you can describe very nicely. So that is there. And also, if supposing if you are working for some software, then apart from the analytical consideration, you can describe this the softwares and tools you have used in this methodology section. So it's methods or methodology, so that you can describe very clearly. Then you have these results, whatever the results are there. Then there are two aspects. Now sometimes people just simply report the results and then they make the discussion separately. Sometimes result and discussion, both modes are acceptable. So if you are producing your results through the graphs, through the tables, and making the discussion then and there only. Okay. So some results, whatever the experimental results which you have produced, and then you make the discussion out of it then and there only. But some researchers, they just think that let us produce the results first and then make the discussion separately. So both formats works together, but that is up to you to choose. But results and discussion, results means whatever the results you have produced from your experimental data, that you have to put in, and then apart from that, then discussion aspect is there. So after producing the result, because you have done the work, you have then made the analysis from using the software tools, and you can produce the results. Okay, in a very systematic manner that you have to do in the presentation. But result discussion aspect is very important. Again, say after the introduction, this discussion part is important. Whatever the work you have done, whatever the experimental work if you have done, whatever the analysis you have done, then what is the physical aspect? Physics of the, say I'm from hydraulics area, so what is the physics behind that that particular phenomena? Okay, so physics, until unless you include some physics, you include some processes and describe it nicely, reviewer hardly accept that. After going even your through results and discussion, they will simply say that you have simply highlighted your results, but what is this discussion component? Discussion component is totally missing. So that a very critical comment comes at that one time, and it becomes very difficult until unless we have thought of in the beginning only. So make the presentation of your results and discussion, make lively, discuss with physics of the problems, right? So that aspect also you please consider when you are making some good your publications, right? And then you come this this aspect of this summary and conclusion. So you make a brief of work which you have done simply, and then conclusions should be very key conclusions. Key conclusions should be there. I mean, conclusions should not be vague. What were the results you have derived? You have to simply put in the bullet form or maybe serially numbered form that these are the results which you have gathered from your results and discussion section, right? So those aspects should be very clearly defined, and also one more aspect should be very clearly written, that what is the further direction for the research. That yes, you have worked in this area, but what is the for researchers, likely researchers who may come in this area in future. So you give some lines, some few lines or future directions also, right? So those aspects are very important, and that you have to take care. Okay. And then after making all those things, then you can simply come the abstract part. Abstract part is nothing; it is simply summary part of your complete work. And here, at least in abstract part, this is also I think after introduction and this discussion, real-time discussion, and this abstract is also very important. This is also seen by the any say for example, I am editor. So generally I see the abstract, whether abstract is fitting to the particular journal or not, right? So Choosing a particular journal also becomes very, very important when you are making the publications and you are doing the work. Please see that your work wherein you want to make the publication, whether it is befitting to that journal or not. Sometimes we choose the wrong journals and we make our this submission over there, and they takes a lot of time first. Whether to gauge whether that particular submission is relevant to the journal or not, and then they simply say that this particular paper is not suitable for this journal, you submit somewhere else. So when we are writing the abstract, that is seen by the editors, right? So generally they don't see the entire paper, but they just see the abstract. So abstract should be very clearly written, and then it should include what is the significance of work 1 or 2 lines, and then what methodology you have adopted in 2-3 lines, and then what are the results you have got. Then that you have to summarize in the simply abstract form, right? In the sentence form. So that forms a good abstract, and by looking through the abstract, it should be seen by the editor that yes, this paper is having some weight and can be published in this particular journal, and then just go for review process. Because what is happening is that when they make a selection of reviewer, then it goes to the reviewer, and then reviewer takes a lot of time. And sometimes what happens is that it wastes the time of reviewer also. So generally, editorial board editors generally take due care in the beginning only whether this paper is having some substance into it or not. If it is having some substance, then they forward the same to the publication, to this they forward to the reviewer for reviewing process. Otherwise, they don't waste reviewers' time. So keep in mind, make the abstract nicely, make the nice introduction, then methodology very clearly defined that how you are want to achieve your objectives which you have defined, and then for that what experimental work you want to do, what data you want to collect. And of course, sometimes the case study is there, so you have to describe that study area you have to describe. So when you are describing, there are 2 kinds of work. One kind of work, experimental work, and the another way of this is the case studies, like wherein the data collection and analysis is there. So you have to describe the study area, then describe salient feature of the study area, and then you discuss about that what the different data sources from you have collected. Data sources are to be very clearly defined, that you are using this data for your work, and then what are the different kind of sources are available from where you have taken the data. That is very important. Otherwise, they will not satisfy for this. Now, one more aspect I wanted to tell you. Nowadays, I could see in many institutions, even not in the great institution also, but I could see that many places or many students even today, they are more opting for analysis kind of work, like just collecting the data and making some analysis and getting paper published. So getting the publications are becoming routine kind of things because nobody wants to basically put in their effort in going for experimental work. And the moment you go for really experimental work or field data collection, it is a really very Herculean task. But I must say at this stage only that making the publication in experimental work is not that difficult as the publication people are doing in this data collection and analysis and making the publication. I'm saying again good journals. I'm talking again good journals. So what is being done is when you have made the data collection and then the entire results analysis and discussion, and the moment it goes to the reviewer, this raise a lot of doubts because nothing is there. They everything believe that create the doubt that how we have done this, how we have done that, and many questions are coming out of it. But if you have done the experimental work and you have directly reported the correct way of your doing the experiments, and results and discussion and physics-based problems. If you have described everything, immediately experimental work are getting selected. Selected. Okay. So experimental work getting the acceptance is easier, but yes, work is easier. Work is tougher. You have to do a lot of work, and then you have to produce one, two publications in experimental work. But in data collection part, it is easier, and that is where the people go with this kind of work nowadays. But yes, even you have done experimental work, job, satisfaction, personal level satisfaction also gives a lot. So I can advise those who are in engineering colleges or maybe other institution. I am always waiting for the experimental work, and because that is experimental work is diminishing day by day, diminishing day by day. I was very recently in one of the society meeting in the Journal of Hydraulic Engineering, Indian Society for Hydraulics. People were saying that no experimental work is related paper are coming, and there is paucity of public, getting good papers over there. Okay, but huge number of papers are coming analysis based. So we think always we should promote that experimental work. Please create the facility and make your students or yourself in experimental work and get good publication out of it, right? Publication is easier, but yes, work is a little hard, right? So these are the few points I wanted to discuss. If you have some more questions, so I will definitely discuss on that, right? Now, one more aspect I would like to discuss here. Then, apart from that, of course, you have the acknowledgement. Definitely, the agency you have to in the paper only. You have the funding agency, so you have to cite the funding agency. You have to cite the data providing agency. Cite, for example, funding agency. You are working on particular sponsored project. There are many sponsored projects. Yesterday, my colleague Professor Arkatukar might have and given the illustration about the different sponsored project. So if you are working in sponsored project and publications are there out of sponsored project, so you have to definitely cite the funding agency, and you have to say thanks for making the financial contribution from where the facilities were developed. Then data providing agency, supposing if you are going for some analysis kind of work using the software tools and like that. I'm not saying that this is not useful. This is useful, of course. I'm saying helping society, helping any problems of society. I'm not saying that. So you have to cite those data providing agency very clearly and give your acknowledgement at the end of the paper. Okay. Like India Meteorological Society or maybe some other society who have given this kind of data for using, or maybe field agency, or maybe some industries. Okay, sometimes your peer group is also helping you for doing some good this figure part or making some analysis. If they have helped you, please do give them recognition in form of acknowledgement. You cannot include as author, at least you can give some acknowledgement in this publications, right? So generally this constructive comments to anonymous reviewers given, but it is not required. In fact, sometimes this some journal they don't like this. So fourth one I cannot recommend, but 3 points you can include which I have described over here. Then referencing is very important when you are making a paper publications and the papers referencing format. This you have to, for example, journal have defined some format. When you choose a particular journal, you see that author's guideline. Author's guidelines are very clearly defined, and you must go through that those author's guideline. And please put all the tables, figures, and the captions of figures, tables, and referencing as per the format of that particular journal. This is very, very important, right? Even a small error in your figures or small errors in your referencing, that creates a different kind of impression over the reviewer, right? So referencing has to be very strictly as per the guidelines of that particular journal that you have to adhere into, right? And then of course, if sometimes appendices are required, supposing you are making you have made the huge analysis of data, and you cannot put in that things in the paper. So part of it you can put in the paper, and then you can just put in the appendix form, right? Or source material. Sometimes it is called source material. Supplementary material, sorry, supplementary material. By the name of supplementary material, you can show entire analysis in that supplementary material. Well, main aspect you can discuss in the paper, because paper is always, there is again guideline that you should have the paper of this much length. So you cannot exceed it, except a few, paragraphs are like that. You can exceed the limit, but you cannot exceed the limit of the paper, and you cannot put entire analysis of your in the paper. So you can put the remaining part in supplementary material. So at the end you have supplementary section, right? Yes. So that you have to think everything that this is all met. One more point I would like to do, figure. We are making the figure fonts, figure clarity. That should be very clear, very good kind of figures. The moment your author sees those figures, he will get impression. Oh, always, going graphics in your mind, and they will, oh, okay, this publication, this has, authors have made very nice figures, and this, that. So that will give good attraction to that. Okay. So overall, when you are making the publication, you have to see that how can you lure your reviewer to accept your paper. Okay, ultimately, acceptance is important. Okay. Now, before this plagiarism nowadays has become very important issue in the country level and entire world level. In fact, I could see that many publications are there, and people, internet sources are available now, cut, paste, so many things. So many institutions have procured the anti-plagiarism software, because in our institute we have turned it in software. I hope in your institution also you have this plagiarism software. Please don't do that, because this plagiarism, this have created a huge problem nowadays. I could see that many universities, people have taken the entire paper and they have put their name of other papers, and now they have been terminated from their job due to this plagiarism. So plagiarism means copying the work of others and putting his or her own name. So this is a very important aspect. Always put your own language, read the paper, but don't copy the paper lines. Don't copy the paper lines. Read the papers, write in your own words. Write in your own words. So otherwise, it is very difficult to satisfy this plagiarism concept. So hardly, journals, they just go 10%, sometimes 15%, not more than that. At any cost, not 15% more than that. Why 15%? It is not point that you should copy line to line. Sometimes, say, I have made some reference of some references. I have cited some references. Say I have cited 50 references. So those 50 references might have referred other places also. So they will show like these are the your copied material, but you cannot consider them copied material, because your this referencing will be same whether you publish here or there. So that will not be counted as plagiarism. That is why it is given 10-15%. Otherwise, there is no point. It is not, absolutely keep in mind, line to line copying is not permitted at all. Right? That is one aspect. Figures and table must be as per the prescribed format of the journals. I was already told. It should be very neat and clean tables, and concept. It should be very clear, I can say. Word limit, yes, you have to obey the word limit of the articles when you are making the publications. Sometimes 8,000, sometimes 12,000. whatever the limit is there, we have to be there, we have to work within that. Okay. Then I'm just since you are maybe many of you, maybe your reviewer also of some some journals. So I'm talking editorial review. So we have chief editor. The most one is the chief editor, right? Chief editor, paper generally goes to the chief editor first. He just simply forward the chief your paper, just simply very broadly he sees that abstract part and then it forwards to associate editors. So these associate editors are the key persons which decide that whether the public papers which you have submitted, whether it is deemed fit for making the publication or not. So associate editor goes very rigorously with the abstract part, and then if required, then he can go for methodology part and see that yes, that particular paper which is submitted, that is befitting to the journal, right? So the role of associate editor is immense, right? And because in a particular journal, one chief editor, but there are many associate editors. So associate editors are many. Because per journal of, for example, a journal of hydraulic engineering, so it also has many areas very clearly defined. So for different area, they identify the expertise and they give different associate editors. So chief editor's role is to identify that area which is befitting to that associate editor. He simply forward to that associate editor, and then associate editor makes the decision whether the publication is suitable for this particular journal or not. If it is not there, he simply send back to chief editor, and the chief editor send back to author that this paper is not suitable for publication, right? But if it is there, if he sees that yes, paper is adequate and it can be published in the journal, then without much deep review, he simply send that particular paper to the 3 reviewers at least. Generally, 3 reviewers, associate editors send papers to 3 associate editors, but sometimes 2 also. But at least minimum 2 acceptance is important. So out of 3, if 2 acceptance are given, and 1 even some rejection is there, or maybe some reservation is there. So generally 2 reviewers if accept, then the paper after getting the review, if some reviewer third has, for example, has given some reservation, so it is not there that his reservation or her reservation is not taken into account. It's sent back to the the author, editor, this chief, your authors, and then authors have to comply to the reviewers of third also. So it is not there. If somebody have given the reservation, you have to comply. But meaning is that even if 2 acceptance are there, that is sufficient. Supposing, for example, if reviewer third is not having a lot of commitments, and if he's not making any review in time, then associate editor can take decision on the basis of reviewer 1 and reviewer 2, right? So that is that aspect is taken into account. Okay. So generally, when this reviewer generally when they go, then what kind of decisions are there from reviewer side? Just if you can see, initially they say that initially they say reservation like kind of thing that this reject, but they don't say very critical remark. They said that. And making the very positive remark that yes, paper is published, but this paper is not having that much substance to make publication in this particular journal, and then it goes to again to the authors, and they submit the paper in other journals. They sometimes they also describe some authors, some reviewer also describe that this paper is not having any substance. I said that if your introduction is not good, then they simply say that there is nothing new in that particular, and they simply reject it. So I mean, the rejection is also there. Then apart from the rejection, you have this. There is sometimes it is minor revision. Sometimes sometimes you have the minor revision. So in minor revisions, you make minor revision means it is sent for making the minor corrections in the paper. Anything more? Anything you want to say something? Mr. Jitendra? Okay. So
yes, sir.
कोई बात नहीं, आप ऑफ कर अपना ऑडियो ऑफ कर लीजिए, कोई बात नहीं. So I want to say that there are different kind of results of the review process. Like you have this minor revision when the paper is almost accepted, but some is minor reservation of the reviewers that authors have to complete. Maybe some editorial comments, maybe sometimes technical aspect. But if there is some issue in maybe some analysis part itself, yes, effort is quite good, and some more major analysis and discussion is required. Then the paper comes under the category of major revision, right? So accepted in first time, it becomes very difficult to get the paper accepted completely. But then what happens is that after getting the acceptance, very few 5% papers are only getting accepted in first times. But if you see that most of the papers comes under the major revision, minor revision are also very minimal. I mean, in first time, major revisions comes, and then of course the rejection is very common nowadays. Rejection is very common because introduction are not written nicely, and the authors and the reviewers simply just reject it. So when you start making publication in the beginning only, supposing for example, if you are making the publication, in that case, what happens is that in the beginning, when you are starting the writing your publication, it may happen that rejection rate is very high. It may happen that out of 10 publications in a year, you have made sent for publication, and you find that hardly 1 or 2 getting published and remaining getting rejected, right? But slowly and slowly go on trying and go on trying, you will get expertise in this particular area with time, and you find that the rate of rejection is getting reduced, and rate of acceptance will increase slowly and slowly, because the quality of your writing papers, your language, and writing the art of the paper, everything is getting improved day by day. So your rate of acceptance will improve while the rate of rejection will decrease. So that is what happening. So please, when you are making the publication, be sure that your don't discourage initially that your paper is getting rejected. Even today, many of our students in publications, they are getting rejected. So don't get disheartened, but it's very common. Okay, with anybody, top class research also getting rejected sometimes. So please don't get discouraged with that, and go on publishing, go on trying, lot of effort, and I'm sure a time will come that those results will come very soon, and you will soon start publishing good publications. Okay, so that is from my side. If some questions are there, because if you have any question, then I can take up the question. Okay. Sudarshan, if you have some questions, our this participants have some questions, we can discuss, because 8 minutes time is there, 7 minutes. I hope it is 4 o'clock, I hope.
Hi, yes, sir.
Okay, so 6-7 minutes time is there. So if some questions are there, I will take.
Hello. Yes, sir. Good
Yeah.
evening.
Good
Pranav
evening.
here, sir.